NBC tonight, singer Usher guest stars as Marvin Gaye. American Dreams, 8/7 Central tonight on NBC. Dale Earnhardt Jr. playing the role of race leader here at Phoenix as Home Depot presents NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. He's out in front of Dave Blaney by 1.7 seconds, working some pretty heavy lap traffic.
Yeah, I just put Jeremy Mayfield, a 19 car, running 28 the lap down.
Yeah, some of these guys are going to have to make some really big adjustments during the pit stop, because if they're really tight right now, they need to almost make double the adjustments, because the track is just going to keep getting tighter.
Real loose, but it's leveled out on me.
Second place here.
And Jeff Gordon has moved to the top of the racetrack. He's right up. If he were the sprint car, he'd be riding the rim. And out in Wally, it's working for him. Watch how high he goes up in the corner.
I could talk about definitely two lines here. And if you can get your car to work high in 1 and 2, it actually is better. But yesterday I looked everywhere. I was on the bottom, in the middle, high. You just got to keep searching the racetrack to see what your car likes. And Jeff Gordon now obviously found a groove that he likes, and his car's fast on, and that's the high groove.
Problem is, when the lap traffic is in the groove that your car likes the most,
that becomes a problem.
Todd Bodine also running that high lane in the Discover Card entry. Todd just been put a lap down by the leaders in 31st place.
Marty, what about the 24? What are they saying in the pit area?
Well, BP, one advantage of qualifying well is you get a great pit stall, and their pit stall for Jeff Gordon is down here in the middle of 1 and 2. So Robbie Loomis said, hey, why don't you try running that high line? Everybody else is. He went up there, and they picked up time. And that was Robbie Loomis' suggestion to do that. Working well for Jeff Gordon.
Well, we didn't qualify very well yesterday, and what we did is I tried 3 different lines in 3 laps, and they looked at the watch, and then they told me, hey, whatever you did that lap, that's where you want to run. But Robbie being down in 1 and 2, he can see it for his own eyes.
Probably going to have some pit stops here pretty soon. Everybody was in at lap 28. Maybe another 25 laps or so before they come in. So let's take a break here, get back and set that up. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR on NBC moves to South Florida next weekend. It's 4 championship weekend. Season finales for the NASCAR Busch Series and NASCAR Winston Cup Series from the Homestead Miami Speedway, 1:30 and 12 noon Eastern, Saturday and Sunday respectively, here on NBC. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led 88 of the 101 laps that have been run so far. Ryan Newman led 12 of the opening laps, but it's been all juniors so far.
And he's about to put Mike Wallace in the Conseco car. A lap down. He's trying to. Got position in turn 3. But is that the fastest way? Looks that way. We talked about earlier about brakes being an issue here at the Phoenix International Raceway. On board the Texaco Havoline 28 car that Ricky Rudd drives, we've installed a camera that can show us just how warm these brakes can get. And that red that you see is the rotor turning red when he goes down the corner and applies those brakes.
He's on the straightaway right now, but just a second, you'll see that thing get bright red right there.
All that inside is the rotor turning cherry red. And you know, Mark Martin last week had a left front. This is a coil spring that they talked about that they found that was an 1/8 of an inch short in a coil, and he cost him 25 points. 25 driver points, 25 owner points.
You know, the reason that those spring rules came into play by NASCAR this year is very complicated, but the more that you legislate on a race car, the more different areas teams explore trying to find an advantage. And one area teams thought they could find an advantage is with softer springs and doing some different things with the springs to make them compress in different ways.
Right. The lower you can get the car to run to the racetrack, the better the car is going to handle it. It almost creates like a vacuum in between the bottom of the car and the racetrack. So if you have a spring that's a little bit shorter, you get the car compressed, it's going to go through the corners faster. But that spring, I don't think, had enough off it to make it a difference.
No, I don't think it made any difference as far as the performance on Mark Martin's car. But again, once again, the rule says 4.5, and it wasn't 4.5. It was 4 3/8.
So you see Ricky Rudd, second to last on the lead lap now, back in 21st place. They're racing Michael Waltrip, and we are coming up on green flag pit stops for some of the front runners. In fact, Todd Bodine has come on the pit road already, and Ward Burton has been on the pit road.
And there's the winner, the 27 car, Scott Wimmer, the winner of the NASCAR Busch Series race yesterday. And in watching Happy Hour yesterday, I just was convinced that he was going to be a challenge for the win today. But right now, this is not looking good. He's about to go a lap down to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And Junior's car is getting into the corner really, really well. He's he's really making up a lot of ground getting in, and his car's rolling through the center right here. That's really good here at Phoenix. What's up, Dave?
Well, I just wanted to update you on the 27. He has been tight all day long. They made an air pressure adjustment last time to try to correct it, but that's a problem for Scott, as his car is just really tight and not nearly as good as his Busch car was yesterday.
And he's coming to you now, Dave.
And see, I don't think an air pressure adjustment right now, this track's going to get a lot tighter. These guys are going to have to make big changes right now. And I don't know if a pound of pressure here and there is going to get it done.
Dave? We'll see what they do this time. There goes the adjustment wrench. They're going to make a wedge adjustment in that car. That's going to be a lot more significant, and look at how many times he turns it around. That will change this chassis and hopefully make things a lot better for Scott. They'll put on 4 tires and pump it full of fuel.
Rusty Wallace is in for his pit stop. Remember, Rusty took just right side tires when he came in back at lap 28 under the caution flag.
Now see, Rusty probably won't, I think Rusty, if he's happy with his car, he'll make a small change, maybe a tire pressure adjustment. But the guys that are really having trouble are really going to have to go out there and make some changes. I don't see any wrenches going in the back, Benny.
No wrenches, just air pressure adjustment. Good stop, all in all, for Rusty Wallace. A little over 15 seconds.
See Wimmer leaving. Joe Nemechek, who's just ahead of them, heading out of the pit road. Here's John Andretti in. Marty.
John Andretti's been extremely tight. He obviously started second today. He has fallen back to 12th, Alan. This team really needs a good run. They're planning on a wedge adjustment. Also, they're going to take a pound out of the right front tire. Wally talked about how many of these teams need to make big adjustments. Many teams are talking about that, how the racetrack's going to change throughout the day. You need to keep up with it. It'll be the pound out of the right front tire. 4 tires for John Andretti, and they decide not to make that wedge adjustment. And I agree with Wally. That might have been a bad move.
Good pit stop. Under 15 seconds. Jeff Gordon is on pit road. Second place car.
Brian Newman is also in for his pit stop. Marty, go ahead.
Brian Newman is tight. They do decide to make a lot of adjustments on that race car. Remember, he only took 2 tires last time. Pound into the right rear, pound out of the left rear. They also make a wedge adjustment for Newman, a little longer on the left rear. Behind him on pit road is Jeff Gordon, the man who was running second for most of that run. Starts loose, gets better the longer he runs. He said, I like what we've got, guys. They decided to put a pound in the right front for Jeff Gordon. They like that car a little bit loose. Dave?
Marty, the 15 of Michael Waltrip is on pit road. They've already made a wedge adjustment to the left rear of that car. 4 tires and fuel for Michael. His car was just a little bit loose.
See Dale Jarrett coming on to pit road as Michael leaves. Johnny Benson is also coming in.
And you saw the right rear of Jeff Gordon's car outside the pit box. Well, obviously NASCAR did not hold him. He had to drive around the 41 car of Jimmy Spencer to get there. And when you do that, when that happens, they do not penalize you for having the tire outside the box.
You said the right rear, but you're allowed to have the right rear out.
By driving around
right. The other 3 tires have to be in the box, no, regardless. Kenny Wallace is in. Bobby Labonte's in. Wholesale pit stops here. Matt, how about Kenny Wallace?
Kenny Wallace had dropped from 6th down to 14th. The car was free and neutral, and then it just went bad loose. They're going to adjust with air pressure, and you can see the wrench in the back window, Dave.
Matt, Bobby Labonte was just a little bit loose. The crew made air pressure adjustments in every tire except the right front. Took a little air out, filled it full of fuel, and sent it back out.
Still waiting on the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He has not made an appearance on pit road yet, nor have Dave Blaney or Mark Martin or Matt Kenseth. Dave.
The 48 car of Jimmy Johnson said, I'm moving to the bottom. I just can't get the top to work for me. They're going to make an adjustment this time and send him back out. 4 tires, a little bit close to the wall for Johnson.
Yeah, I think the car fell off the jack, too, and they tried to put the left side up on that stop. Saw the car up, dropped back down, then went back up again.
And I saw some guy trying to pull out a quarter panel on the car like he might have had some damage.
Jeremy Mayfield in.
You see the wrench going in there. Oh, 2 wrenches. There's a lot of adjustment there. Matt.
A lot of work going on in Jeremy Mayfield's car. You can see both wrenches in the back window. Chris Dana making the adjustment on the left side, the gas man. Mayfield scored a second here. Long stop. Mayfield's best finish here, second. They're hoping for more today.
Championship leaders on pit road.
You see how the gas?
Who's that? Was that the 20? 8.
The 8 car is out. No.
Wow, where's
lap 117. He's on the backstretch. Just coming off turn 2.
He's a long way from the pit opening.
Wow.
Man, oh man, this cannot be happening. Cannot be happening.
Let's handle this. Come on around.
That's the attitude. Let's handle it. Let's go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs out of gas leading. It's going to cost him so much time.
That's a telltale sign. 0 RPM.
Now watch the mile per hour. You don't know how fast you're coming down pit lane, BP, when you don't have an RPM gauge to gauge as well.
Marty?
And he said he's out of gas. That's all he said is, I'm out of gas. And obviously they're very upset here. And he's going to slowly come down pit road. Here he comes, and indeed, the car is not running for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now the problem is they have to get it fired up. A lot of times these cars have a hard time starting once it's out of fuel. They will go and they'll spray ether. Actually, they spray some gas straight into the carburetor. That's how they do it. Spray it straight into the carburetor. It does refire for Junior. He was the leader. This is a terrible break. Dave?
Mark Martin was going to pit a lap ago, but they saw Junior slowing, thought he might stop on the racetrack, causing a caution. He did not. Jack Roush pointed his finger, stay out one more lap. They did. Only a slight air pressure adjustment for Mark Martin, who said he needed forward bite and side bite in the car. Marty?
Dave Blaney on pit road having a terrific run up front. It'll be 4 tires for Blaney. They're working on the left side, the left rear now. Full of fuel, a long time on the left front for Blaney.
Matt Kenseth is the leader. He's not yet stopped. Here comes Kurt Busch, had moved up to second. Now he comes in. Marty?
Kurt Busch is on pit road, coming down pit road right now to his team, having a nice run in the top 5. A 3-time winner this year. They'll go around to the right side for Kurt Busch, now around to the left side. A lot of these teams are fighting tight conditions on the racetrack right now. Just can't get their car to turn in the corner, and Kurt Busch will make a track bar adjustment on the backside, putting some track bar in 4 tires for the 97 car.
And now Matt Kenseth gives up the race lead, and he comes onto pit road. This will just about complete the cycle of stops.
And you see that DeWalt $1 Million Challenge on the hood? The challenge was held here today, and the guy won $1 million, Marty.
That's exactly right, BP. He said, I like what we have. It feels pretty good. They're just going to put 4 tires on and make no adjustments. They talked about putting a right front air pressure adjustment in. They decided against that. They think they have an excellent car. The last time you saw this car on the racetrack, it was in Victory Lane at Richmond.
What's going on there? What's going on down there, Marty? He's hung up. He run out of gas.
Not running?
Run out of gas.
Oh, wow. 30-second pit stop.
Yep. That's 15 seconds on the racetrack is about a half a lap.
So after things have cycled out, the new leader of this race is going to be Jeff Gordon by 5.5 seconds on Mark Martin. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be 13 seconds behind Gordon in 7th spot because they ran out of gas.
I thought it was going to be worse than that.
Yeah, I did too. I thought he might get a lap.
Just past the 1/3 point of this race, Home Depot presents NASCAR Winston Cup Racing from Phoenix. We'll be back.